Hey everybody, it's Charlie. They just dropped the first look preview for Captain Marvel, so we gotta break it down. They just revealed a whole bunch of details about the story too, including a full-blown Skrulls secret invasion subplot, like we all thought that they might end up doing at some point. I'm doing a new round of that Spider-Man PS4 giveaway. All you have to do to enter that is be a subscriber and leave a comment on the video. I'll name a new winner at the end of this. So I'll do story details first, then I'll break down all the previews that they drop. So big stuff first. She starts out the movie with her powers. They're not going to do a traditional origin story like they did with the Phase 1 Avengers or even with Doctor Strange. Like at the beginning, Doctor Strange is not Sorcerer Supreme. So Captain Marvel will already be Captain Marvel from the comics at the beginning of this movie. At the beginning of the movie, she's already left planet Earth to join Mar-Vel's Star Force, which is an actual Kree team from the comics, but Mar-Vel wasn't a part of that. So they're changing a little bit of the comic book story. I'll explain that in a second. The Star Force itself is made up of these people. You kind of get a Wonder Woman vibe from this, like Wonder Woman and her team of military ops during this big space war that's happening. So think of Mar-Vel as the Steve Trevor of this situation. They're involved in what's going on with the Kree-Skrull War. There's a subplot that they have while they're in outer space, but she's brought back to planet Earth because of the Skrull secret invasion that they learn about. That's led by Ben Mendelsohn's Talos character. He is somebody from the comics, but the comic book version was a little bit different. He doesn't have the ability to shapeshift, but Ben Mendelsohn's character does very clearly because he looks like he's human form here. But this is basically what they're going to look like. They'll be tuned up a little bit in post-production, so the colors will pop a little bit, like their skin will seem a little bit greener. But you have a strike force of Skrulls that start shape-shifting and trying to take over planet Earth. Probably has something to do with Project Pegasus because there's a lot of S.H.I.E.L.D. going on in all these preview images. Like Captain Marvel has a S.H.I.E.L.D. emblem on her jacket, but she's wearing her Nine Inch Nails t-shirt. Remember, this is taking place during the early 90s, so just imagine all the big rock bands of the 80s, 90s. That's kind of the music that will permeate the film. When they were talking about the tone, they specifically referenced Terminator 2 and say like Top Gun. So this will be Marvel's version of doing a big movie like that. It's the Skrull plot that brings in lowly desk jockey S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Nick Fury, who they did say, he has two eyes, he's quite a bit younger. Think like Die Hard 3 age Nick Fury. But when the movie picks up, he's not director, he's not anybody important. Even though this isn't a traditional origin story movie, they're giving you Captain Marvel's origin and giving you Nick Fury's origin too. So that's going to be pretty cool. The big thing about that secret invasion storyline is that obviously there are a lot of questions about what's going on with the Skrulls in present day because it sounds like they're trying to set them up as bigger villains. And obviously there's all the prequel elements to Ronin's story before he becomes this full-blown crazy person by Guardians of the Galaxy. So starting with the straight-up comic book costume, this is what she'll look like at the beginning of Avengers 4. But like I said, at the beginning of the Captain Marvel movie, she'll already have her powers. The reason why she wears the green Kree military uniform is because she joins Star Force as part of this big Kree-Skrull war. There's probably some big mission that they go on. There is a subplot involving Star Force during the Kree-Skrull War where the Kree Supreme Intelligence was trying to kill off a portion of its own population. It sounds like a very snaptastic plotline, like something right out of Thanos' mind. I'm going to kill half the population so that the other half evolves. But what they might end up doing is because Star Force seems like relatively good people in this movie, but in the comics it's kind of evil. The stuff that they do in the movie with the team won't be exactly like that Kree-Skrull War comic book plot. The other real big character that they introduce is Maria Rambeau, who's an Air Force pilot who, you will know, is the mother of Monica Rambeau in the comics. So what they might be doing through her character is just teasing the idea that they'll eventually get to Monica Rambeau during Phase 4 or Phase 5. The fact that her codename is Photon also kind of foreshadows her daughter's powers because Monica Rambeau eventually gets into an accident with a disruptor which gives her the ability to turn into an electromagnetic form. She appeared during the Ultimates 2 comic book where Captain Marvel was in space with the Ultimates dealing with big Galactus level stuff. So this is them just winking at that. Like, oh yeah, 30 years in the future or so, you're going to be seeing some Monica Rambeau. I think the idea is that after she's done with this movie, she goes back to the red gold costume. Maybe she wears the sash for a little while, but there's been some concept art with the sash and some other concept art without the sash. So I'm just expecting a lot of Easter eggs for all the different versions of her comic book costume. Because like you have the black warbird costume, you have the original costume with the skirt. We'll see how they handle all that stuff. How about de-aged Nick Fury with two eyes though? I love how he has the cut above one of his eyes here too. Like, oh yeah, we're definitely going to get rid of this by the end of the movie. They're de-aging him the same way that they did for Michael Douglas during Ant-Man and the Wasp. but for a much longer period because he is a pretty big character during the film. So just remember, when the film picks up, she's with Star Force, then she comes back to planet Earth and they do all the secret invasion stuff. As far as Ronan and Korath go, I'm assuming that they're just going to pay off the Kree-Nova War stuff from Guardians of the Galaxy, like the atrocities that he refers to during that movie, they will somehow set up during the events of this. But even though he has always been hardcore, it doesn't seem like he's quite as hardcore as he is during Guardians of the Galaxy, so just expect him to go off the deep end by the end of this. But I think it's a pretty safe assumption that they're going to Steve Trevor Mar-Vell during the film. Because her origin is tied to the Psyche Magnetron in the comics, I'm wondering if that device is going to have anything to do with the plot of the movie, or if it's going to be part of Project Pegasus, or have anything to do with the Skrulls' secret invasion. That's probably tied to larger galactic conquest, but it's always funny to see why alien space races want to take over planet Earth if it doesn't have anything to do with Infinity Stones. Remember, this is 20 years ago in the past, so Odin is still alive, Midgard is part of the Nine Realms, so it's their job to make sure that nothing really bad happens. So I'll be interested to see how they reference what's going on with Asgard during all this, but maybe Odin just doesn't care. It's always fun to see how they try to tie this together with little Easter eggs, but I don't know if the Asgardians have any kind of presence during the film. I know there's still all kinds of questions about how Captain Marvel winds up getting to Avengers 4 looking the exact same age where she's been this whole time, and how they're going to deal with Ant-Man and the Quantum Realm, if there's going to be any connection between Quantum Realm and Captain Marvel making it to the beginning of Avengers 4. So just remember, the big goal of this film is just to broaden the mythology of Marvel space-based cosmic films. We have the Skrulls now. Don't be surprised if they introduce some other crazy concepts that spin into other movies, like the Nova movie that they talked about. Maybe they'll introduce the Quasar character at some point through Captain Marvel sequels. But I do expect that this movie will do well enough to merit a sequel sometime during Phase 4 or Phase 5, whenever they feel like doing it. Like they're doing the Doctor Strange sequel, but it wasn't super urgent. They just knew that they would do it at some point. Might be the same scenario with Captain Marvel. But let me know in the comments, what do you guys think about all of this? Just the look, the feel of the movie. Remember, it's set during the 90s, so I'm assuming that the soundtrack will also be really big 90s stuff. Like she's wearing a Nine Inch Nails t-shirt. They're probably going to have some of their music in the film. She was also walking around in a Guns N' Roses t-shirt on set, so I'm guessing there'll be some Guns N' Roses in there too. Kevin Feige explained a bunch about how her powers work and how she's going to fit into Avengers 4. I posted that video a little while ago, so I'll link that at the end of this. Congratulations to Justo FNG. You're the giveaway winner for my last big video. Please email me on the About page of my YouTube channel. Click here for that Kevin Feige Avengers 4 video, and click here to learn all about Henry Cavill joining the Witcher TV series on Netflix. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.